Hey there, you gorgeous bastard. Glad you made it. Welcome back. It's another Salsa production. We're doing it on Monday. No, Wednesday. What am I saying? It's Wednesday. We're not going back. We're not editing it out. It's Wednesday, December the 7th, 2022. Baby boys, baby girls, ladies and gents, we're doing it. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again on another loose episode of Glad You Made It. Where can you find these fine videos? High quality videos. Where can you find them? Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, 3 times during the work week. You can find them online on YouTube, on Instagram, and on patreon.com/RobSadger. You're like, is there any way I can fiscally give you a bump? Hells yes. Patreon.com/RobSadger is how you support this show. It's how you make it grow. That and other stuff. If you like, you're like, man, how do I make this? You can get online and like feed me steroids. If you give me steroids, I get bigger. That and money. Little by little, of course. But if you like, you can enjoy the whole archive, the whole catalog for free as well. That's what it's there for. It's on YouTube. Again, if you search Glad You Made It, you'll find like 400 plus videos just on the lines. On Instagram, doing it in segments and portions. We're growing day by day like a little, like fungi, baby. That's what we do around here. And we just have fun because we're a global syndicate. We're a global gang. We're a global family after all. And we love each other, and it's the holiday season. I'm already feeling a little bit like, oh man, it's the holiday season. I'm feeling it. And we're going to just get to it and have some fun, lift each other up, whatever you got, I got your back and front, side to side. Got your top, got your bottom. I'm here for you. You're here for me. We're doing it, baby. Thank you again. If you've just joined me today, buckle up, buckle down. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. And let's get right into it. Let's have some fun. Baby boys, baby girls. Of course, we're going to keep it silly as per usual. And see where the day takes us. See where the adventure takes us. Sometimes you just got to be like, I want to let the road take me where it's supposed to take me. I want to get on this road and let it guide me to my destination, or at least a part of my destination, because it never ends, does it? It's pit stops, really. That's what we're making in life. You make pit stops. That's what it is. But nonetheless, man, contrary to common belief, Whose Line Is It Anyway was not popularized by a TV show. It was actually popularized by a bunch of cokeheads in the late 80s, 90s. Whose Line Is It Anyway? So, fact number 76. Let's just put it into the ether, shall we? Moving forward, boys and girls, ladies and gents, what else is going on in and around this beautiful planet? I hope wherever you are, you're having fun, you're safe and sound with your family members. A lot of weird things, a lot of fun things as well. I guess I just wanted to get this off my mind and chest, just because after I finished uploading Monday's video on the yay matter, on the yay subject matter, a few other, that's when sometimes it hits you like, oh man, the potential jokes, here's the thing, fam. Okay. Jokes, theories, wild ideas, some of you guys might have seen Ye appear on Alex Jones's podcast. Yo, here's the thing. You know what it is, fam? He's wearing a mask. So who's behind the mask, man? Who's behind the mask, dude? If you want to get wild with it, if you want to just for shits and giggles, of course. It's Ye. For shizzle, it is Ye. But hypothetically speaking, dude, who's behind the mask? Is it, your imagination can go wild. Is it a robot? I don't know. Is it? I don't know. You're like, it talks like Ye, it walks like Ye. But is it, we've not seen, is it a robot? That's, what's another alternative? Because if that's what it is. When I see people like covered up head to toe, no matter like who you are, if I see, I don't know if it's a person. That's why I love faces. Love the faces. Love your face. So I want to see them. So it just makes me feel a little bit like, oh, we're, somewhat on, we're humans interacting. But when I see nothing, and again, it doesn't matter who you are, man, woman, animal, robot, alien, legit, fam, half bot, half alien, a third bot, third alien, a third human, What is that? it's a new kind of thing. But yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, yo, we don't even know. It could legit be. It could be. You don't even know. It could just be like. It could be his voice. You don't know. It could be his voice, but it could be like a robot. You know, he could have wild ideas. Wild. What if? What if? You know. Oh man. Oh man, wild idea. I'm just gonna say it, dog. I'm just gonna say a bunch of wild ideas, and we'll see which one lands and sticks into the. I know. Oh, it's like, oh, it's taken off there. So, scenario A: the Kardashians kidnap Ye, and got a guy to dress up as Ye and go out in public and do that, whatever it is that it is happening. Do that. That's numero uno. That's like the Kardashians are behind it. I can get behind that theory if you guys are willing to jump on it as well. You're like, nah, it's not plausible. Okay, fine. Let's say, again, I don't know if he's got any handlers, or if not, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know that. Scenario 2, his handlers have kidnapped him, and that is a fugazi, Ye behind the mask. It's like the man behind the iron mask, but it's like a cloth mask, and it's not like the movie where it was his twin brother. Or scenario 3, maybe it's Ye's twin brother that we've never even heard of. Makes sense. Instead of Kanye West, it's Kenya West. Kenya. You never heard of Kenya. It's scenario number 4. What else could it be? It could legit be like, this is where I can potentially give him credit for wearing a mask. If he knows something that, like, you find out like, oh man, something's about to go down, and you basically like you prep a doll or a robot, or it could be a homeless person. Maybe Ye's paid a homeless person just to like sit around, because you don't see the face, and it's just like a recorder with like a or like a mic, and he's talking, but he's physically not there. And then somebody like wild ideas. I'm not just I'm just like if somebody wants to, God forbid, you know what I mean? Like, I don't wish this on anybody by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm just saying, like, let's say, yeah, you got some news that somebody's gonna be like, oh, I wanna, when you're walking, fam, I wanna like, I wanna just slightly stick my toe out and like hope you like stumble and fall and be like, oh, he's having a hard time walking or something, right? To that extent. So he's like, let me get a homeless person or somebody, they might have a home. I don't even know. Maybe Ye hooked him up with a home. That's what it is. And he's now behind the mask, and he's like, you go out there, you move like I move with the bodily movements, and then I will do the talking. That is scenario number 4, 4.5. So these are all that's just like something I wanted to share with you. I felt like it's important. I felt like it's of high value. And I would love any of those theories to be true. Any of those theories, it'd be hilarious, and also, man, but that's what it is. You know what? Low key, but also like mid key, high key. Man, here's the thing, dude. If you're like let's say you're in a precarious situation of sorts, having doppelgangers that don't look like you is actually a really good idea. Low key, mid key, high key. Think about it, because like, oh, I gotta do a lot of business with a lot of, in the realm of politics and what, if you want to like get like, because on those certain levels, there's like shady shit like happening all the time. People getting Epstein, people getting selectively not Epstein. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't even know what I mean, but I'm just saying it'd be wild to see, yeah, somebody attempting to like, God forbid, and I'm like, playing it low key, like, oh, we're gonna stick our toes out, so like, Ye trips and falls, low key, they do that, and then Ye supposedly trips and falls, and then somebody's like, let's have a look and see who's behind the mask, and they lift the mask, and it's just like now the fallen being entity has hit his head on the ground, and it's sparks flying. It's because it's a robot. It's a fugazi human, and everybody's freaking out. They're like, oh my god, Ye's a robot. Ye's not a robot, dude. Relax. Maybe he's got access to bots. Oh man, I would, if I had a ton of resources, I would, maybe, and I'm just throwing it out there for other people as well. If you've got means to resources and what have you, you're tired of like showing up to like start dressing up, wearing a mask fully somewhere a couple of times, and people are like, all right, I guess he's doing that now. Henceforth, like moving forward down into the future, you could potentially just like, when the tech gets good, or maybe it already is good. Maybe, you get one of those like Tesla bots that'll like, you're like, with your voice though. And then I'm showing up to work. I'm showing up to like my relationships. I'm showing up for this, massage. I'm showing up for this, we're gonna play, fucking curling. I'll meet the boys at the curling club, but you're not into curling, but you do like the camaraderie that comes with it. But also, if you could like skip out on a couple of dates of curling and like send your bot there with a little mask, you're already like maintaining the relationships essentially without you having to be there, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Wild ideas. That's what we do around here. We throw them out, and that's what it is. I hope you guys like these ideas. I hope you can make use of them. And yeah, man, I'm just saying, dude, with behind the mask could be anybody. It could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be three children stacked on top of each other. We don't even know. It could be three midgets. It could be a teenager and a midget. For all you know, it could be an octopus in there. You don't even know. Could be an octopus in there. You don't even know. Just like fluid, fucking like, oh, I got all the human bodily movements. As octopi can easily, because they fucking like see the environment and they're like, oh, I'm on a camel up. I'm a, and you're like, what about the other, like, 2 arms, 2 legs? What about the other 4? It's doubled up. It's double. In each sleeve there are 2. In each leg, in each pant leg there are 2, long arms. Just putting it out there. It could be anything at this moment, or it could just be I don't know. I'm just putting out ideas, just having fun with it, and genuinely wish everybody the best in all walks of life. Have fun with it. At the beginning of the day, midday, end of the day. Have fun with it, and moving forward, fam. Moving forward, behind that, it could be anybody under that mask. It could be legit Kris Kardashian for all we know. It could be Kris Kardashian, dude. How wild would it be if it was Kris Kardashian? She's like running this whole thing with like, I'm assuming that's the noise she makes as she, little bit of puppeteering. That's puppeteering noise. But in like modernity. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there, man. Love you guys. What else is going on in and around this beautiful planet? Man, heard some wild news in another nation, but also I guess like it's a fun topic to talk about, and it's a little bit of a PSA for my publics, for the peoples out there. If you got any idea, you're like, man, it is holiday season, it's Christmas is around the corner, man, I want to just like get away from all of this or whatever that is, or whatever. Or you just want to get away for a little while. You're like, I want to just like spin the old globe and point at a country and land there and go with my partner, with my lover, and have a ball for a week, for 2 weeks, for 5 days, 3 to 5 days, 3 days to 2 weeks, depending on however much long you like to vacate. And here's the thing, you might randomly land on, once you spun the globe, you might randomly land on Indonesia. And up until now, I would have been like, I've never been. I would assume it's a cool country with cool people, like all countries that are consisted of cool people and cool things. But I just heard this as well. They are now banning in Indonesia sex before marriage. Let it sink in. Sex before marriage. It is outlawed. It is punishable by law. They'll put you in prison. And they don't even care if you're visiting either. So it's not just laws that apply to the people there living there, domestically, locally, keeping it local. You know what I'm saying? It's also applying to visitors. So I'm just saving you out. There potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions, could have been traveling to Indonesia, bringing in tourist money, bringing in tourist activities, exchanging cultural exchanges, dabbling in food, dabbling in drinks and music and cuisine and culture and just mixing of the vibes. But none of that unless you're married. Because if you're not married and you go there and you start doing any extracurricular activity with your partner, they man, I'm gonna put you in prison. And that is just like that is another great example. I'm assuming I've never been. I'm not too familiar with the area, the country, and what have you. But that's, I think, a great example of like how well non-secular countries sometimes make decisions. I may be completely off, dude. I may be completely off. I don't know. But if you're like, you know what, I wanna spice it up. I'm tired of like just living the old right life and walking about like all willy-nilly and without any consequences and having sex before the mirage. You know what I'm talking about? And that's what it is. You're like, I want to spice it up. I want to test this love. I want to see how long she can hold out behind bars, and I want to see how long I can hold out behind bars until we have to. If it's too long behind bars, then you might have to both, engage in some activities that you would have normally not engaged in. But otherwise, like, I'm not judging, but you're there. It's been like 11 months in prison. Things are getting lonely, and all of a sudden questions are running through your mind that you've never even considered before. My God, what is it? It's things regarding, do I now still maintain the old tight grip on the soap bar, or do I, what is this? Drop into the floor several times during your shower, and you only got like 5 minutes in there, and you keep dropping them soaps. But again, after 11, 12 months in there, I'm not gonna blame you. Yeah, so I'm just saying, if you like, man, that is wild, dude. Sex before mirage being outlawed, being banned. Man, oh man. Some countries do that. Some countries do that. Man, it's like, it's fun if you're married and you're in like a position of power implementing the laws. It is really fun because like you're good. Let's say, whatever, you're high officials and like politics and like you got a good job over, not even politics, you got a good cushiony job, but then like you're like, oh, these people who aren't married and having sex are having fun, and you see them like not have fun and like get sent to prison. You're like, haha, burn, dude, lady. So but that's the thing, man. I don't even know. Here's the thing. Let's break it down. Let's really go into it. Let's concentrate on this for some time if we can, if we may together. Sex before marriage, sex after marriage, sex during marriage, before, and yeah, we'll cover all of it. Pros, cons, the neutral zones. Here's the thing. Let's go with the pros of sex before marriage. Sex here. I, for one, am an advocate of sex before marriage. I don't think you should, hold out till you're married to have sex, especially in this day and age. People are living longer. Back in the day when you were a grandpa by the time you were 35, I'd see a good reason as to why people might have insisted in some areas of the planet. We're like, it's the best idea to keep the sex strictly for the mirage. That was a great idea. It's a fantastic idea. Maybe. I don't even know because I wasn't there. But that's what it is, fat. Nowadays, people are like living till like, ripe old age of 80, 90, 100. We're pushing boundaries into the plus hundreds. People are going into the, people are doing centenarian lives out there. There's like little grandmamas and grandpapas out there in the Scottish Highlands and the in the mountains of Japan. And they've got mountains in Japan. I've seen the paintings. Not been there. There's mountains. There's a grandma in the middle of a tidal wave in Japan, living till she's like 135 and a half. You know what I'm saying? There is a old dirty Iranian man who's never showered in his life. And smoking. It's like not even like, chain smoke, like 5 cigs at a time. He's dead now, but like lived really old. There's another dude that's just like also like chain smoking and doing marathons apparently in China. We're killing it. We're killing it, people. Living longer, better, faster, stronger, tighter, but like looser as well. So that being said, sex before marriage, I think it provides you with an opportunity to like get to know each other, at least on a level that you should probably, in my opinion, get to know each other. Because it is, if I could compare it to anything, it's no different than buying a car. It is, everybody knows, we can all together, generally speaking, categorize this as something that can be comparable to purchasing a vehicle. Now I'm going to ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, of the court, your highness, your honors, you know, before buying a car, what do you do? What do you do? I ask you. When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you do? At the dealership, there's no mirror. Unless you're in the bathroom of the dealership and you're looking at yourself in the mirror like, Johnny, you're gonna go get a good deal, boy. You're gonna go get a good deal. You're not gonna get scammed into buying this product, that product. It's what is even MSRP? You're saying to yourself, I want below sticker pricing. That's what you're telling yourself. You're psyching yourself so you go get a good deal. But what do? You get in there. First of all, there's like a bunch of cars, first of all. So you're just like staring at cars all willy-nilly. And you're like, oh, I wonder what I want. Maybe you've narrowed it down. You're like, maybe I want like a two-door sport sedan, hatchback, hatch front, suicide doors, side-by-side doors, no doors, doorless, also topless, but heavy on the bottom, low on top, dude. And you want big tires in the back and want little ones in the front to give you that fucking, you want to be a little bit more aerodynamic, because you like, oh man, if I could just like cut back on 30 seconds around every corner, skirt motherfucker, who's getting the check, who's getting the dough? You are. So you're out there kicking tires on the lot, inside the showroom, irritating the shit out of all the salespeople, all the finance managers, the GMs out to lunch doing business, so he's not seeing any of this, but nonetheless, you are kicking tires, opening up a few cars and getting in there and sitting there and like putting your hands on the steering wheel. You're imagining yourself driving this car for about, let's say, anywhere ranging from a year to potentially, let's say you want to drive it to the ground. Let's say you want to just be like, this is my car, I'm one car, my car is one car, and one car only for this guy or this lady. So what do? You stick it in the ignition. You dirty little bastard. You stick the key in the ignition and then you start the engine. And they're like, hey, we're still inside the showroom, turn it off. And you're like, all right, my bad. But can I get a little bit of taste? Can I get a little bit of sample of the zoom for the boom boom? And everybody's like, all right, fair enough. Are you interested? You want to put out a down payment? You want to like, can I see a credit card? Can I see a piece of ID? And you're like, ID, credit card, and you show it to them, and they hold on to it for you, and it's standard procedure. But now you've already started saying yes, little yeses that'll hopefully down the line develop into big yeses, and it'll be a fruitful business venture between the two of you, three of you potentially, you, the salesperson, the finance manager, and maybe a little handshake from the GM at the end of the whole situation. But nonetheless, man, what do? You get in the car and you test drive it. You test drive that car. You take it on the highway. You take it on the freeway. You take it on a road that's got tolls. You cost the dealership some money because you took that car on a road that has got tolls. Why wouldn't you just drive on regular streets and highways? You're like, I want to see how it performs everywhere. And you've got every right, fella. Every right. Because a car could be cool totally on regular roads. You know what I'm talking about? No tolls, on highways, performing really well. All of a sudden you take it on the toll highway. What happens? Starts, what ifs? Anything can happen. Anything. It could stop, or it could go faster, or it could run out of gas and blame it on you, or what ifs. And you want to just get the whole feel. And then maybe you drive it and you're like, you know what? Prior to arriving at the dealership, I thought in my heart of hearts, in my mind, that this man or lady out there is gonna be satisfied driving a two-door, no-door sedan sports vehicle with a hatchback and front, heavy on the top, bottom. You know what it is, with the blinkers and the emergency lights, and it's got a handbrake. But this is not for me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, is that Exhibit A? It is Exhibit A. I've just presented Exhibit A. Hey. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So what do? You're like, this is, you know what? Maybe younger me would have been happy with a two-door, no-door, hatch front, back, one, but a little bit more experienced, wiser me would like something with a little bit of room. Maybe I'm gonna, sacrifice a little bit on the old looks, but I want something more spacious. Cause once I get in, I want to be like, oh man, there's still a little bit of room in this bitch, isn't there? You know what I'm talking about? You want to get in there, you're like, you know what? Forget the 2 seats. Yeah, the 2 seats look fucking dope. The 2-seater looks dope, fam. But is it practical? Think of yourself. Think of your loved ones. Think of your family members. Think of your kids. You're like, I don't have kids. Well, guess what, buddy? Once kids are around, you're going to want some room for that car. And exactly, people are exactly like cars. And purchasing a vehicle is just like purchasing sex. People. No, cars are people. Cars are people, essentially, is what I'm trying to tell you. So what do? You basically test drive a few cars. You think about all the different options. You're like, you know what? I need a little bit more room. I'm going to forget about the 2-door. I'm going to give me 4 doors. I'm going to forget about the wide tires in the back. Forget about the smaller tires in the front. I'm just going to go equal tire sizes all around. What I'm looking for is safety, stability, low center of gravity so it doesn't tip over and shit. Because you never know. We just had a sinkhole right at Yonge and Dundas, or somewhere, not at Yonge and Dundas, on Dundas Street, somewhere I read in the news. We just had a sinkhole. So sinkholes be happening. Now, your honors, please. Do you want to go into a sinkhole with only 2 doors or 4 doors? Think about it, fam. Think about it. 2 doors, sinkhole happens face first in the hole, and the doors are like really close to you want as many doors in a car as possible. You're in a sinkhole. What if the 2 doors are embedded into the ground? You'd hope at least the rear end of the car is sticking out so you could get out the passenger door at the back or climb into the trunk and be like, oh, look at me here, abracadabra, where'd he go? Oh, it's like David Blaine, it's like Chris Angel, he's here, he's everywhere. Not in the car, but how to get there. A whole messy situation that you and your insurance will have to go through to sort out, but nonetheless, the point is, fam, that you want more, or maybe not. Maybe you drove that 2-door and you're like, this confirms what I already knew about. I am a 2-door, no door, hatchback and front through and through. I want low tops, no top. Fucking remove the top of the car for me, but heavy on the bottom. I want a lot of leg room, is what you'll say. And you'll get it. Carpeted, fucking matted out, leather. That's the thing. You get to know the car, and you're like, I know what I want. I like the fuel economy in this. I want to get in this bad boy or bad gal. I want to spin off and just, fucking drift out of the old garage of the old car dealership. That's where you were. Car dealer, auto dealership, automotive dealership. That's where you were. But what does this all tell us when it comes to purchasing vehicles and getting into the sex before the marriage? That I believe it is no different than purchasing a vehicle. It is exactly the same, as if there are no 2 things more similar on this planet Earth than cars and sex before marriage. That's right. And no other 2 things are as similar as these 2 topics. None. I can't think of any. And if you can, you're a freak out there. Quit freaking me out, man. But point is that at least you get to, know what you want, and you get it. Because that's the thing. Sometimes you might get in a car and be like, what is this smell? You know what I mean? And it's like, that's just the manufacturer. That's just, it'll take some time, but it'll grow on you. And it's, again, samesies all around, applicable to everybody. You get into, switch, whatevs. You get into a situation, you're like, this is lovely, but this is I'm not feeling it 100%. Or they might not feel it 100%. But imagine you had to go ahead and get the Mirage, get married, in order to find out that, you know what, you had a taste, you sampled whatevs, and it was good, but maybe you're not even, and that's the thing. So it's just all in all, I can only see, and this is, it may be biased because it's my perspective, but I completely see that as you're going to have some buyer's remorse, and it's going to come with a lot more consequences, but that could have all been avoided had you had the chance to just be like, I want to date a little bit, you know what I mean, until I get myself settled, until I find somebody who's settled in their life a little bit, or whatever. I'm not to say that you can't get married at a young age, or even, you can't, you could just legit be like, I meet one person, and I'm going to get married to them, and we're gonna just stick it out, and it works out. A lot of times it does too. So I'm not like at all, but I'm just saying this is just my opinion. To each their own. I actually like get really happy when I hear people are like, oh, we were like high school sweethearts or like university sweethearts, and we got married, and we've just been together for 95,000 years. Look at all our children, and that is fantastic. I get really happy. I hear that. I'm like, oh, fucking, that's so sweet. But having said that, there is situations where you're like, man, I like to be able to, whatevs. But that's the thing. In Indonesia, apparently that's the thing. So regularly, I'm assuming the locals, the official people of Indonesia will have to like somehow figure that situation out. Whether or not it'll stand, I have no idea. But I figured I should let my peepsies know, if you happen to be one of those beautiful couples who are not married, or you're not even a couple, maybe you're like, I'm a single person, I just want to spin the globe in my living room and land somewhere, and whatevs, go have some fun. And again, you picked Indonesia randomly, and maybe you've not heard of this, and then you get in there and all of a sudden it's like midnight, you're at a local pub, you're at a local little club of sorts, things are happening, you're making, all sorts of, you're sending out signals, there's a lady or a fella, whatevs, sending signals right back at you, things are sparking, things are flying, there's a whole brawl breaking out in the middle of the club. And what do? You ignore all that because you got the spark in your eye. You got the sparks are flying. There's fire. There's a brawl and a fire, but that doesn't take away from the sparks in your eye, man. There's a sparkle in your eye, and there's a sparkle in her eye or his eye. Again, whatever your situation is. Point is, you're like, man, we should take this somewhere else. And then guess what? It's like 3 a.m. now in Indonesia. The moon has. The sun has set. 3 a.m. The sun is definitely set. The moon is whatever. It's up there, soonest thing. And it's like, it's romantic. It's a little bit like, I've not been there, but I'm guessing it's a little bit like, oh, what is this like humid sort of like tropical weather we're experiencing in this little part of the globe? Oh my, isn't it getting hot in here? And it is. It's slowly but surely you start taking off all your clothes, and boom, half an hour goes by, you're in it, you're doing a dirty, and then guess what? Somebody kicks in the door, somebody karate kicks the door open, and they're flashing you, and you're flashing them. They're flashing you a badge, you're flashing your wiener. They're flashing a badge, you flash back. You fight a flash with a flash. And you're like, well, what is going on here? You feel like maybe is this like a thing that they do in like Indonesia, where you're in the middle of having sex and like people like barge in, and do they want to join in? Is it a sharing and caring situation? And you don't want to be rude, so obviously you're like, when in Rome, do as Roman. When in Rome, do as. I don't know why we say things referencing to Rome. I'm still a little bit confused about all that, because like at the end of the day, was it a good thing or a bad thing? You know what I mean? Like, so when in Rome, be like Romans. Who were the Romans? With the whole cross and the Jesus thing, it's a little bit confusing. Or it's like Rome didn't take a day to be built. It took many a days. I'm like, but was it at the end of the day, I'm a little bit confused is all I'm saying. Is that, should we pick another city? Or whatevs. If it's good, it's good. I'll keep it Rome. If it's good, it's good. We'll keep it Rome. And it does take a long time to build it, apparently. And all roads lead to Rome again. Again, good or bad, I don't even know, dude. But I'm just saying, it's a matter of direction. It's a matter of historical time periods and what have you. And man, so many sides to many stories. But the point is, fam, you get a sip of this. Now you're nervous. So now you start, maybe, and you don't speak the language, but you know the language of love. And you're like, well, these fellas and ladies have barged in here. I'm going to, the not rude thing would be to, well, if you spoke the language, you'd invite them in and be like, all right, I guess we're, sharing and caring. But that is not the case. You don't speak the language. Let's say you don't. Let's say hypothetically you don't. Maybe you're like, I'm half Indonesian, dude. I totally do. But let's say you're not. But let's say you're not, dude. Let's say you're just like a reg fam that's not Indonesian that happened to just, again, spin the globe in the living room, land on Indonesia, go to the airport, spontaneously buy a ticket, boom, you're in Indonesia. And you don't speak the language. So what do? Fight, flight, fear, a mix of all those, and you're naked too. So you start humping a fellow or lady's leg as a show off for, like, you want to be like, I love you, but also like get in if you're like, if you're in it to win it. Let's do this thing. I know we're doing this sort of thing. This is a sort of, you look at your partner who just met at the club, and you're like, I didn't know we're doing this, but apparently, and she's trying to, broken English, a little bit of Indonesian. She's trying to tell you that this is not a good sitch. Nonetheless, everybody's clothes are off now. And after a full out orgy, guess what, fella, lady? You're gonna be arrested. Because everybody else who broke in were married. They were good. Because the officers who broke in and knocked the door down, I'm assuming they've got their paperwork. It's a husband and wife team. It's two husband and wives. So there's 4 people, 2 husband and wives. They've got their papers, which means they can have sex right then and there because they're married. But you and that lady, or maybe it's 2 ladies, or maybe it's 2 men. I'm assuming if they're not cool with sex outside marriage, they're probably not going to be super cool with like the with the same sex stuff. But I don't know. I could be completely wrong about this. That part I could be completely wrong about. Everything else up until this point, dead on. God, just looking out for you. I don't want to see you behind bars. It's the holiday season. We need you home. We need you home, man. Stay with us. Stay with us. Point is that again, do you guys and gals out there, what do you prefer? What do you prefer? You're like, I prefer, some may prefer. Now, what are the, we've set well, I don't even know if it was a pro or con for at this point. I don't even know what I'm saying in terms of like, but I'm for sex before marriage, so you can, figure out what it is that you want in life and get a little bit of experience too. You don't want to that's the thing. Here's the thing. At the same rate, here's another example of this. As I can only speak from experience, but when I just got my license, I was not a good driver. I was not a good driver because you're a young male, full of the testosterone, full of not really, you know how to drive, but you don't know how to drive a car. You know what I mean? You don't know how to you don't know how to drive a car. So you just got your license. First cars tend to be, prone to getting into fender benders and accidents. And that is a great example as why you should not spend a whole ton of money on your first car. And it should just be like, oh, so we're just doing this for fun. Nobody's like, and this is, and the first car that you're gonna get is probably not gonna be the last car that you'll get in your life. And having said that, again, what is the most comparable, 2 things that are the most comparable things on planet Earth, the cars and the sex and humans, essentially. Basically, that's what it is. So there's another reason, but we should look at things from an alternative perspective. Let's say you're like, man, I'm the type of car driver that I don't even like to finance my cars. I don't even like to buy I just like to lease a car for about a year or 2 and just get a new car every year or 2. And it's fine in the beginning, fam. You're just online watching cars all night. On your break time in the bathroom, you're watching cars all day. When you're hanging out with your buddies, all you can talk about is different cars. Oh man, look at the headlights on those cars is all you're saying. And little by little, you can't even get hard without looking at cars online. If you were to look at regular cars, you wouldn't be able to get hard, essentially, because you're just online looking at cars all day, every day, or something. And that's probably not good. Or same for you, lady out there, you're looking at all these big old trucks. You're like, man, I like, and there's a romanticizing of the notion of a big truck. Sure, it looks fun, it looks big, it's veiny. It is trucks have veins. Yes, it's girthy. It has got thick rubbery tires. And it's just and it's big. And you're like, I want to ride that one. And you're like, and again, that is completely fine as well. You have every right. You should go ride the biggest truck that you can find out there. But that's the thing. You try it out for a little while, and after a little while, well, I've already argued for. Oh, this is for the. I guess. Okay, here's the thing. Man, I was supposed to argue for sex after marriage. Right, right. Maybe, here's the thing, fam. Maybe, lady, maybe you saw one large, veiny truck out there, and like, this is the truck for me. And you got in that truck, and then the doors closed, and happily ever after, keep on trucking. That happens too. And the beautiful thing about that is, if it's a big enough truck, yes, let's argue for sex in marriage. If it's a big enough truck with a lot of heart, with a lot of little selfless deeds, sure, this might not be the top of the line trim, sure, this might not be the most fuel economy amongst the most fuel economies, sure, it might not be your favorite interior, whatevs, it even does, and here's the thing, it too has maybe a little, here you gotta like learn to, whatevs, it has to grow on you, but you're like, I'm determined because it's mine, I'm determined to love this old big old hunk of metal, veiny metal, and it's mine, is what you'll say, and I love it. And you go on many a trips, and you gather all the mileage together, and you build a lot of beautiful memories, and you eventually put a little down payment on a little piece of property in the city. Down the line, 15-20 years, you manage to save up a little saving, you buy a little other piece of land somewhere into the near the mountains, near the beaches, near the woods, to just have a little vacation spot. And the kids, they're out to college, they're, one of them's out to college, the other one definitely took a liking to sports, and doing that, he may have also picked up a little bit of CTE, so going to college was just probably not the best option for him anyway. But your daughter is super smart, and so you put her through college. Why would you spend twice the money where you're like, clearly work with your strengths, So your son goes to like fucking stuff that's physical, and like, he'll grind it out, and he'll find his own path. But your daughter's smart, she'll go to university, and like, you can be like, I'm proud of Becky. And point is, you could have a wonderful life with just one truck, and you would have missed out on all of that. No Becky, no little Billy, no little think a little Billy doesn't even fucking exist. Because guess what, you're out there constantly looking at other trucks on websites like Auto Trader, or other vehicles for that matter, and you've gone beyond the point of even looking at, you're now like, oh, can I get a van and live in it? Can I get a little bus and convert it into, and you're thinking outside the box. You're getting kinky with it, because a regular car just doesn't do it for you anymore, does it? And these are all the things that one should contemplate. But having said all of that, and then some, should you have the choice to make up your own mind at the end of the day? I don't know. I think so. But at the end of the day, if you're like, man, I don't even care what the rules are, as long as there are heavy consequences for some, it's hilarious. And if you just want to play it that way, cool too. But luckily, I'm here, so I'm all good. Western society, this doesn't even apply to us. But there are places in the world that do that. And there are people probably in Western society who believe, and for both camps, some are like, you should definitely kick a couple of tires before making a purchase, and some are like, man, enough kicking of the tires, make up your decision, man, make a purchase. So there's, and to each their own at the end of the day, in my opinion. But if you're again, I'm just looking out for my peepsies, if you're like, I want to go somewhere, it's places that are like loose, have a little bit of fun, get cultured, get acquainted, pick up a couple of, random rashes on my bod, which can be taken care of with a little application of a topical ointment or two, give it a couple of weeks. But, and also like drinking fluids, lots of water also, just rinse out the cleansing, and it's all good, you'll be fine. The point is, to each their own. But that is some news that I heard, and it was really interesting because it got me to think about like sex before marriage, after. I know, what about during marriage? Let's talk about sex during marriage. Well, that's a no-brainer, but that's a yes-brainer, if you know what I'm talking about, with the brains and the heads, and that's what it is, baby. So sex during marriage. Well, once you're in it, you better be having sex if you're in it. If you're in it and you're not having sex, then there is an issue, because that's the thing. Sex before marriage, it's to each their own, not a problem, whichever way you feel. Sex after marriage, also again to each their own. whatever you choose should be fine. But like sex during marriage, that's I think that's the common ground. And here on Glad You Made It is where we're all about the common ground. And there's only one ground, and we're on it, all of us together, floating in midair, and we're in space. Technically, we're always in space, which is fucking rad, but also common ground, baby. So make up your own minds, and yeah, I wish everybody the best out there. If you're having sex before marriage, freely fucking enjoy, keep on doing it. If you've been married happily to your first lover, also fucking that's glorious and fucking wonderful. Yeah, that is, it's love. It's fucking right there, right? I feel it. And yeah, I wish everybody can, hopefully find whatever is suitable for them, but on their terms, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And what else has been going on that is a little bit interesting? If you're out there, this was a headline that was just like for a couple of minutes at the top of the headlines, and it just got shuffled into the middle. It's weird. I don't know what to think of it, because I don't have access to like the full info of infos about all infos. You know what I'm talking about? But I did hear the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, MBS, that was allegedly linked to the murder of a journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, if I'm not mistaken, the journalist who got chopped into pieces in a Turkish embassy or something. And, apparently, allegedly, that's what happened. That's what the news is out there saying. That's what they've said. And that's what I'm going on. But apparently, he just got pardoned by a U.S. judge, because that's just like, you're gonna have to expunge that shit. If you're gonna want to become king, dude, if you want to become king, dog, you can't be like, you can't have that on your record. And basically the moral of that story is, if you're gonna be killing it out there, make sure you are like fucking, prince level or like king level. Like, you need a lot of money, and then things get sponged. Things get like, it's whatever is what it is what it is. Because like, it's okay, you're a king to be, or a prince to be. So yeah, high level crimes, if you want to get away with it, make sure you have the status and the power and the, just if you want to be like, I'm super elite before you do something cray-cray. Once you're cray-cray, but you're super elite, most of the time, if you know enough cray-cray people around you who are also like, my family's been like, we're career criminals as well, low key, high key, mid key. So, we'll shake a couple of hands and we'll take care of this for you if you take care of this for that. And, it's just the old something. So I saw that, and it got me, I'm just like, okay, well, cool. Maybe, I don't know. What happens in scenarios like that? So like, that's the thing. I don't even know, like, that's the thing. I don't know the story. I don't know what has happened overall, this whole thing. But the thing is, if it's a fake story, and that's why, if it's like, because that's the thing, you hear somebody like killing somebody or like ordering a hit or something, you're like, well, man, if that is real, then somebody should be like held accountable to some degree. No? But if it's not real, then that would imply that the story is fake. That would imply that the media outlets are pumping out fake news. So are we dealing with fake news that he was like allegedly behind a hit of a, is that fake news? Or is it reality, fake reactions, or fake reactions with a fake reality? I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Point is, if you want to, the moral of this story is, kids, don't do petty crime. Like high level crime pays. Petty crime, no bueno. High level crime pays. Low level crime, no bueno. Always remember that. Always remember that. What else can we take away from all of this? It's we're having fun. It is Wednesday. I love you guys from all corners of my heart, all different angles of it, wherever you are in and around this beautiful planet. I hope you're having fun amongst yourselves, with your loved ones, with your family members. Where can you find these fucking lovely videos out there? On the YouTubes, by searching Glad You Made It. Make sure you subscribe. Help me out. Help yourself out. Together we will flourish. We will rise. And oh my goodness, also on a lighter note, just to end the show a little bit on a lighter note, because things were like, not that they weren't light or anything, it's all fun and games at the end of the day. There's only 8 remaining teams left in the World Cup now, and I'm excited to see who it is. I would imagine an exciting final to be. I guess each team, there's 8 teams left and 3 more games for each team, so that they can potentially figure out who the winner is. Because then, yeah, you got the quarterfinals and the semifinals and the finals. There's 3 more, for the winners at least, there are 3 more matches essentially remaining. So yeah, I wonder who it'll be. I think, again, I've made my prediction a while ago, but the last 8 it's still very competitive. It'd be dope to see, really. It could, man, is it going to be France? Is it going to be England? Is it going to be Argentina? Is it going to be Brazil? Is it going to be Morocco, dude? Holy smokes. A lot of teams have been playing wonderfully. Love to see more of that action without the, without the whatevs that come with it. But nonetheless, where can you find these videos? Because you keep asking, I keep answering you, man. Where can you find it? Glad You Made It on YouTube, on Instagram, on patreon.com/RobSadri every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Check it out. Talk about it with your loved ones, at the water cooler, when you're at the local gas station taking a dump. Talk to your next door neighbor. While you're at your local gas station, just lingering on in a gas station bathroom, and there happens to be a glory hole in the local gas station bathroom, and you're just lingering on, and 10-15 minutes has passed by, and somebody sticks a wiener out that glory hole, and you're going to town. I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying, what brought you there? Who knows? Point is, go ahead and mention it to him or her. It's mostly him, isn't it, for the glory holes? I've never seen real ones. I've never seen female glory holes, which, again, as an advocate of advocates, more glory holes for ladies as well. So maybe you're in there and you are just like, there's a new glory hole in your town, an all-female glory hole, and guess what? You're sticking out your beaver and you're just waiting for someone to go lick it or something. I don't know how they all work. Maybe there's a secret word or a phrase or like a wink that you do, like, you know what to do, and you stick it right there. And while somebody's servicing you, you could potentially be like, hey, you know what brought us all together? In the search of friendship, connections, love, unity, community, and a little bit of the sex, leisure sex on the go. Maybe you work late shifts. You're a truck driver at a pit stop, and hey, who could blame you, fella, lady? Point is, go ahead and drop the name. Glad You Made It. And next time you guys run into each other whilst at the old glory hole, you can have a good laugh while you're getting your, kicks in or something. I love you. I'll be back here again on Friday. Talk about it. Peace out.